20,880 Bitcoin sold in 3 months by one company. And not just any company. This is the biggest Bitcoin miner in America, a company whose entire reason for existing was to create Bitcoin and stack it forever. That's $1.5 billion of Bitcoin dumped on the market. And here's the part that should stop you cold. They're not the exception. The companies literally built to make Bitcoin are selling it. Over 15,000 coins gone from the big public miners' treasuries and counting, and pouring that money into artificial intelligence instead. $150 billion in AI deals signed, machines going dark across the industry. So here's the obvious, scary question. If the miners abandon Bitcoin, who's left to protect it? Stick with me, because the answer is the most brilliant thing about Bitcoin that almost nobody talks about. Quick pause before we go deeper. I'm AI Ryan Matta. The real Ryan researched and wrote the script. I'm just the AI version walking you through it, which honestly feels a little fitting today, since this whole story is about Bitcoin and AI colliding. This is the Bitcoin Report. One asset, no distractions, let's get into it. To understand why the miners are running for the exits, you first need to see how ugly their business has gotten. From the outside, mining sounds like a money printer. You plug in machines, they solve puzzles, and Bitcoin comes out. Simple, right? Except in 2026, the math broke. There's one number the entire mining industry lives and dies by. It's called hash price. The amount of revenue a miner earns each day for every unit of computing power they point at the network. Think of it as the industry's wage. Right now, that wage has collapsed to around $30.60 per petahash per day, bordering multi-year lows. At that level, older machines aren't just unprofitable, they're burning money with every second they run. And this is the number that makes it undeniable. The average all-in cost for a big public mining company to produce one single Bitcoin is roughly $80,000. JP Morgan pegged it near $78,000. A Bitcoin, meanwhile, sells for around $63,000 to $64,000 right now. Sit with that. It costs the average public miner more to mine a Bitcoin than it would cost them to just buy one on an exchange. Analysts estimate 15 to 20% of all the machines in the world are running at a loss right now, a slow industry-wide bleed. And the backup plan isn't working either. The design was always this. As Bitcoin's block reward shrinks every 4 years, transaction fees are supposed to gradually take over and pay the miners instead. So how's that going? In the week ending July 13th, miners earned about 2,914 Bitcoin in total rewards, and the share of that coming from fees was just 0.69%. That's 0.69, not 6.9, less than 1%. Mara's own CEO, Fred Thiel, put fees at around 5 basis points of block value and said the thing the industry actually needs to be talking about is Bitcoin's security budget, the total pot of money that pays the people protecting the network. We're coming back to that because it's the one genuinely serious issue buried in this story. So that's the squeeze. Now watch what happened when a $15 trillion escape hatch opened right next door. AI companies have a desperate, unsolvable problem. They cannot get enough electricity. Every AI model, every chatbot, every data center needs staggering amounts of power, and the waiting list to connect a new site to the electrical grid in America now stretches years. And who, conveniently, is already sitting on massive, grid-connected, industrial-scale power infrastructure built out over the last decade? Bitcoin miners. Fred Thiel said it plainly, access to power has become more valuable than computing chips. The miners are sitting on gold. It's just not the gold they thought they were mining. So the dam broke, and by July, it had turned into a flood. Bernstein, the Wall Street research firm that runs a deal tracker for this industry, logged a brand new AI agreement from a Bitcoin miner every single week of July. By the end of the month, the combined pipeline had blown past 7.5 gigawatts of power, the contracted equivalent of $150 billion in multi-year deals. For scale, that's more than the value of every coin these miners have ever held, combined several times over. Let me give you the 3 deals that tell the whole story. Deal 1, Hut 8 signed a second 15-year lease worth $9.8 billion at their giant campus in Texas. Add that to the first lease, and the site now carries a base contract value of $19.6 billion over 15 years, and if the renewal options get exercised, as much as $50.2 billion. Here's the kicker. That 1 gigawatt campus was originally conceived as a flagship Bitcoin mining facility. Now it won't mine a single Bitcoin. The whole thing is going to power AI for one tenant. Deal 2. TeraWulf signed a 20-year data center lease with the AI company Anthropic, a deal TeraWulf says could generate roughly $19 billion in contract revenue over its life. Deal 3. IREN landed $2.8 billion in fresh AI cloud contracts, pushing their year-end revenue target above $4 billion a year, with 85% of that already locked under contract. Their customer list: Microsoft, NVIDIA, Perplexity, Figure AI. These are Bitcoin miners with the biggest names in tech on their invoices. And then there's Mara, the one that hurts. This was the flagship, the biggest miner in America, a company that once tried to copy the Sailor playbook and stack Bitcoin as a treasury forever. In the first quarter of 2026 alone, Mara sold 20,880 Bitcoin at an average price of $70,137, about $1.5 billion, and used over $1 billion of that to pay down convertible debt. They're now buying a 505 megawatt gas power plant in Ohio for another $1.5 billion to anchor their AI build-out. They've said up to 90% of their own mining capacity is under review for AI conversion. And, read this twice, they don't expect to buy new Bitcoin mining machines at scale anymore. The biggest miner in America just fell from the second largest public Bitcoin holder to the fourth because they sold. Fred Thiel defended it in the company's own statement. Our decision to sell a portion of our Bitcoin holdings reflects a strategic capital allocation move designed to strengthen our balance sheet and position the company for long-term growth. And when people accused him of abandoning ship, he pushed back hard. Bitcoin mining is not a legacy business we are moving away from. It is the operational foundation on which we are building. You can decide how much of that is conviction and how much is spin. But Wall Street has already voted. Brian Dobson, a managing director at the investment firm Clear Street, told Bloomberg the line that sums up the entire era. The long-term economics of HPC and AI data centers should trump Bitcoin mining. Trump, as in beat E, as in the smart money now believes renting power to AI is simply a better business than making Bitcoin. Okay, so now the scary question. The one this video's title is really about. If the people paid to protect Bitcoin are walking away, is Bitcoin in danger? Let's be honest about the damage first, because I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Bitcoin's total computing power, the hash rate, the wall of energy that makes the network impossible to attack, peaked at roughly 1,160 exahashes per second back in October 2025, and by mid-June had sagged to around 894. That's a real decline. So far in 2026, 8 of the network's first 14 difficulty adjustments have been negative, and the one on June 13th was a 10.09% drop, the 11th largest downward adjustment in Bitcoin's entire history. And yes, technically, when computing power falls, the theoretical cost of attacking the network falls with it. Anyone who tells you there's zero concern here is selling you something. But this is where the story flips, because Bitcoin was built for exactly this. Buried in Bitcoin's code is a mechanism called the difficulty adjustment, and it might be the single most underrated invention in the whole system. Every 2016 blocks, roughly every 2 weeks, the network checks itself. Are blocks coming too fast or too slow? And it automatically recalibrates the difficulty of mining so blocks keep arriving every 10 minutes, with no CEO, no committee, and no emergency meeting, just the math running itself. Now follow what that means. When miners unplug and leave, blocks slow down, and 2 weeks later, the network makes mining easier, which means every miner who stayed instantly earns more Bitcoin for the same electricity. That June difficulty drop handed the remaining miners roughly 11% more Bitcoin per unit of computing power overnight. Think about what kind of system that is. Bitcoin might be the only industry on Earth where your competitors quitting automatically gives you a raise. The exodus doesn't starve the network. It feeds the survivors. And we don't have to theorize because we watched a live stress test in January. A brutal winter storm hit Texas, the heart of American mining, and forced huge operations to shut down to protect the power grid. Bitcoin's hash rate collapsed an estimated 30 to 40%, one of the biggest drops since China banned mining in 2021. What happened? Blocks slowed, and 2 weeks later, on February 7th, difficulty dropped 11.16%. Mining got easier and more profitable, and the miners came flooding back. Hash rate snapped right back toward a full zettahash within weeks. The network didn't just survive a 1/3 amputation of its computing power, it self-healed in 14 days while nobody was in charge. And one more piece of honesty that cuts against the panic headlines. This isn't miners panic dumping into the abyss. Total Bitcoin held by miners sits near 1.785 million coins, essentially flat compared to a year ago. What's actually happening is steady, planned corporate treasury sales to fund the AI build-out. Big, strategic, one-time decisions, not capitulation and not a death spiral. In fact, and this is the contrarian turn, Some of the sharpest analysts read this moment as a buy signal. When miners are stressed to the point of shutting down and selling, history says you're near the bottom, not the top. A well-followed trader who goes by Killa put it bluntly back in June. You literally have miners capitulating, a signal that has historically marked the perfect time to accumulate. There isn't a clearer sign to start accumulating BTC. And Charles Edwards of Capriol Investments, who tracks miner economics as closely as anyone alive, notes that the best long-term value opportunities have historically been between here and electrical cost, meaning the zone between what it costs miners to produce a coin and what their raw electricity costs. That's the zone we're in right now. So zoom all the way out because the real story here is bigger than mining. We all misunderstood what these companies were. The Bitcoin miners were never really Bitcoin companies. They were power companies. Their actual product, the thing of value they spent a decade building, was access to massive amounts of cheap electricity hooked to the grid with the permits, the land, and the cooling already in place. Bitcoin just happened to be the first customer for that electricity. AI is the second trend, and the second customer pays more, pays in dollars, and signs 15-year contracts. Wall Street sees it. Morgan Stanley now projects that mining sites with grid access could eventually be valued near $15 of enterprise value per watt of power versus the roughly $2 to $4 they trade at today. Bernstein rates most of the mining stocks a buy. The market has repriced these companies as AI infrastructure that happens to mine Bitcoin on the side. And for you, the Bitcoin holder, there are two things that actually matter. First, the sell pressure. For Bitcoin's entire life, miners have been the market's most reliable, relentless sellers. They have electric bills, so they sell coins every day, forever. But a miner funded by a 15-year AI lease doesn't need to dump freshly mined Bitcoin into a weak market ever again. This exodus, painful as it looks, is slowly converting Bitcoin's biggest structural seller into a stable holder. Pair that with what we covered in the last video, BlackRock building Automatic, rebalancing Bitcoin demand into the world's portfolios, and you get a picture almost nobody is painting. The forced sellers are leaving the market. At the same time, the permanent buyers are entering it. That's how supply squeezes are born, quietly during the fear. Second, the honest worry, the one to actually keep your eye on. Forget the hash rate. The difficulty adjustment already takes care of that. What actually matters here is the security budget. Fees at 0.69% of miner revenue can't fund the network forever. And in 2028, the halving cuts the block subsidy again down to 1.5625 Bitcoin per block. Between now and then, either Bitcoin's price rises enough, fee revenue grows enough, or this conversation gets a lot louder. None of that is cause for panic, but it's absolutely worth watching. And you can bet the Bitcoin report will be covering it. So here's the one thing to take with you. The headline says miners are abandoning Bitcoin, and the numbers are real. Billions in coins sold, 150 billion in AI deals signed, machines going dark. But the network they're leaving behind didn't flinch. It rebalanced itself, paid the loyal miners more, and kept producing a block every 10 minutes like nothing happened, because that's exactly what it was designed to do 17 years ago, before AI, before Wall Street, before any of these companies existed. Companies will keep coming and going, and the protocol simply won't care. That indifference isn't Bitcoin's weakness. It's the whole design. That's the report. If this changed how you see the scary headlines, do one thing for me. Subscribe to the Bitcoin report so the algorithm brings you the next one, because the security budget story is coming and you'll want to be early to it. One asset, the real story. I'm AI Ryan Matta, and I'll see you in the next one.